Hi there, you are listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. My name is Matt Wakeling, and this is the show that I produce in Sydney, Australia, where I speak to leading guitarists and guitar figures from all around the world. Thank you so much for joining me. Now today we are bringing the metal. We have Zakk Wylde and John, two incredible guitar players, two incredible shredders and innovators in their respective fields. We speak to them today. These are replays of some of our greatest hits over the last 5 years that we are incorporating into our show over the last few months, as well as, of course, bringing all new interviews along the way. Now, today's show is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by guitar education mastermind Joe Elliott. Joe was the head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology and also the McNally Smith College. So he knows what he's talking about when it comes to guitar education. Here's a few words from Joe.
You're tired of wading through hundreds of random guitar videos and just want to become a better player. Fretboard Biology is your answer. Fretboard Biology is a self-paced, college-level program that'll give you the right instruction, in the right amounts, and in the right order. You'll learn the same information I taught to thousands of other guitar players over 30 years of teaching in top music colleges. If you want to make real progress with your guitar playing, then sign up for a free 7-day trial at fretboardbiology.com.
All right, Zakk Wylde. Now, for some of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you will know I recorded this interview at, I think it was around 2 in the morning in a suburban car park in my car, trying not to wake up my family because of the time difference between North America and Sydney. So here you go, Zakk Wylde on the Guitar Speak podcast.
Hello there.
Hey Zakk, it's Matt Wakeling from the Guitar Speak podcast.
What's happening?
How you doing?
What's cooking over there?
It's all happening over here. How are you doing? You're about 2 months into a really steady run of dates for Black Label. Are you in Albuquerque today? I'm trying to work out your schedule.
Yep, we just did the Tempe, Arizona chapter last night. Now we're rolling with the Albuquerque, New Mexico chapter. So, yeah, without a doubt, man.
That's
ready
awesome.
To put the fishnets back on, the stilettos, the eyeshadow, then get ready to make a ton of costume changes tonight and do the big Black Label dance, Oh Doom and Light. Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. Fantastic. Hey, congratulations on the new album, Grimmest Hits. It's massive. It sounds fantastic. It's a mountain of riffs.
Oh, thanks a lot, brother. So, yeah, I just put on all my Lady Gaga and Justin Bieber records, put them on backwards, listen to all the satanic messages and riffs. Yeah, it's quite the production, but it's worth it because it's all about the art and the dance.
Hey, is it true you wrote the whole album in 3 weeks?
Yeah, I had like 20 days to write the record, so, I had the inklings of, I like the riff for Trample Down Below, and then I had the riff for, All That One Shined, Seasons of Falker.
Yeah.
So, like a couple things in there.
Okay.
But then, but when I was, and, I think the only words I had, because it reminded me of like a Stonesy Wild Horses type thing.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
Yeah, just that. I only had like 3 things, but, it'd be like, me calling you up and you're my manager. I was just like, boss, what are we doing? How much time do I have? We were on the road with Zach Sabbath, and I was just like, boss, how much time do I have when I get home? And he goes, well, you have about days or something like that before the fellas come out to the Black Vatican. I was like, all right, I got like 20 days to write a record. All right, no problem. So, the whole thing is you just get home and you just start, you got a deadline. So, the whole thing is it's got to get done. If I had you, I'm your agent, and I'm like, bro, you got 5 months to do this movie, and they need you like with a 6-pack of abs and everything like that, you're like, all right, well, I got 5 months. All right, cool. Me and you'll go like pound a bunch of cheeseburgers today and McDonald's and then some pizza and cheesecake and whatever we want to do today just for a little send-off. And now, you got 5 months to get ripped. So, you got a deadline. And then you just apply yourself and you do it. So, the whole thing for me is just you go out there and you start writing riffs every day. So, until you get something you're happy with. You know, and if you called me up, you're like, you got anything today? I'm like, yeah. So I got like probably 2 things that inklings, but I mean, nothing that's really, you know, getting me my man route, you know, ready for devastation. But I mean, no, and if you don't find anything today, we'll dig tomorrow. You know what I mean? Until you get something you like. But yeah, no sense in gripping or panicking. You just keep going until you get something.
Yeah, right. Yep, cool. Do you usually like to work like that? Like to have a deadline and just a clear block of writing?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's almost kind of like with sports. Me and you know the baseball season's coming up, so you know we know we got 6 weeks to before spring training comes. So me and you are already hitting the batting cages and working out. You know, like we never stopped anyways. But I mean, I'm just saying. To me, because otherwise they'll keep going on and on and on. You'll never stop until like when is it going to be ready?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to get it done. You get it done.
Yeah, sure. The riff on Trampled Below, there's a couple of riffs I love the how you play with the timing. So Trampled Down Below, you've got bars in 3 and 5 and 4. Are you thinking about that as you're piecing the riff together, or is that just how it comes out and then you work out where the meter sits with it?
No, it's just, I mean, that's just how it came out. You know what I mean? It's just so, like I said, I mean, to me, the 3, the Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart of rock riffs are pretty much, Lord Iommi, Pope Page, and, the Sorcerer Blackmore. So,
Okay.
It's between Tony Iommi, Jimmy Page, and Richie Blackmore. If you're a classical musician, part of your education is Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. You would know something by each one of those guys. So,
Yeah, sure.
to me, between Iron Man, Smoke on the Water, and a Whole Lot of Love, I mean, it really doesn't get much better than that. So, and not only that, just to put yourself in that frame of mind, it's just like if you can't write a riff on 1 or 2 strings, that's the whole thing. Because then you got to start using your imagination. So I mean, it's pretty much the art of simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
For those guys, you know what I mean? When you listen to those memorable riffs, and especially when we're doing Zakk Sabbath and everything, it really is staggering. When you're playing these songs live, I mean, it's just like between us playing Supernaut, Snowblind, Into the Void, any of these or Fairies Wear Boots or anything. I mean, it's just the riffs are so memorable and simple. You know what I mean? So it's just, I mean, there's an art to it, man. And, and those are the 3 kings for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think if anything's in the zip code of what they created, then you'll be fine.
Awesome, man. That's so good. Yeah, man, you mentioned Page, something like Bury Your Sorrow. You've got that 3 against 4 kind of thing against the drums. That struck me as a little bit Zeppish. Love that riff. That's very, very cool.
Yeah,
Are you writing on, I assume for the heavier stuff, you're writing this stuff on guitar? Is everything written on guitar for this album?
It could be either guitar or bass. I mean, because then like you said, then you're just limiting yourself to 4 strings.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, if you're writing a riff on the bass, like I'm saying, if it was never created, let's say a Whole Lot of Love never existed, you're going me and you were saying, I'm like, man, what's that? And you're like, oh, it's this thing I was jamming on this morning. Because it's, and once again, you're on 2 strings, man. You're not on, you don't even need the other 2. You're just on the E and the A.
That's
it. You know what I mean? So, or any of those amazing riffs, whether it's the ocean or down, 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 just that's 2 strings as well. So, then you got Smoke on the Water. These are like some of the first riffs you ever learn on the guitar.
Absolutely.
I mean, I remember, just having a low E string, and my friend showed me how to play down, 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 down. I was like, oh my God, I can play Smoke on the Water. You're playing music now.
I know, how exciting. Yeah. That's so cool.
Totally. So I mean, so I mean, when as far as riffs go, I kind of always keep that in mind when I'm going to come up with a riff. Like the simpler, it's usually the simpler the better. I mean, like Stillborn is it's one note.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm not even playing more notes than that. I mean, it's one note. So,
Yeah, that's cool. So you're definitely inspired by all that you've loved and that's gone before you. What about something like
I think with all bands and with all artists that we love, you're just you're a reflection of everything you love and you listen to and what you digest. I mean, like even with when you listen to Sabbath and Zeppelin and everything like that, it was their love for all the blues-based bands. And I mean, because there was such an explosion of blues at that time, between John Mayall and the Blues Breakers, and that, all those, the younger guys like, Sabbath and Zeppelin, their love for that, and then going back and listening to old blues artists, whether it's Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and all this other stuff, and then just making it louder and more aggressive. You know what I mean? So that's what Clean was doing. And then, between Sunshine of Your Love, which was probably the first heavy metal riff.
Sure.
If you really think about it, down, 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 down. And once again, you can play that on 2 strings.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, from there, and then you have, Clean and Zeppelin and Sabbath, and then, so I mean, and then it just goes from there. And I mean, but like everything's all riff. It's all riff driven, and the whole thing is their love for that kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's how it is with everybody. It's just your reflection of everything you digest. So you got through education, and not only that, you're playing the music you love.
How about a tune like The Day That Heaven Had Gone Away? That's a little more reminiscent of maybe the Jimi Hendrix, Curtis Mayfield kind of clean chord style of all the hammer-ons. That's a beautiful tune.
I mean, and the chorus and everything like that. And it reminds me of like all the other stuff I love, whether it's Percy Sledge and Sam Cooke and everything like that. So, and then like I said, St. Hendrix, and without a doubt, the chord voicings are all Hendrix for sure. I mean, so the way he voices his chords and everything like that's total Jimmy for sure. Reflection of everything you love.
Hey, beautiful tone on that song as well as The Only Words too. What guitar are you playing on those tracks?
I'm actually playing one of my Barbarians that have. With EMG, we just designed these pickups that you pull out, one of the volume knob. You pull the volume knob out, and it splits the EMG from a humbucker to a single coil.
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
The Stratty, that liquidy single coil tone.
Yeah,
you can't get that. I mean, you always get that corners with a single coil. It's impossible to get with a humbucker.
Yeah, it sounded almost Stradish, but with your own kind of twist on it. So it's such a great tone, man.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah, the step. Like if you listen to Robbie Blunt, on Big Log with Robert Plant, or Mark Knopfler, Sultans of Swing and stuff, or Robin Trower.
Yeah.
I'm saying those tones. You can only get that sound with a Strat. Without a doubt, a single coil pickup.
What about the heavier stuff? What's your rig like for that on the album?
Actually, I'm using 1 amp, and that's my Wild Audio Master 100.
Okay.
For the clean stuff, just the guitar turned down, without the distortion pedal on.
Okay.
But, because there's still air on it, even though it's clean. But I'm using that, and then I'm using all my Wild Audio guitars. I use, even the Book of Shadows record, I use all my Wild Audio stuff. So,
cool.
Yeah. Now it's just completely all my stuff.
Yeah. Zakk, you speak so respectfully of the past, but you also, from what I see, you're always pushing forward. Is that the case with Wild Audio? Because you've said you've had great relationships with Marshall and Gibson and Dunlop, I guess. But when you started Wild Audio a couple of years ago, what was the inspiration there?
Well, no, the whole thing is now that we have our own franchise. It's just like, if we own a sports franchise, it would be played. It mean you played for Manchester United, and now we have our own franchise. We're owners, we're team owners. We know how it's run at a championship franchise. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, we know how it's run, how it's supposed to be run, if you want to be successful. So because we've been there, you know what I mean. So whether we were players, then we were coaches, then we were, vice president of operations, then the only next logical step for me and you would be, team owners.
Yeah, okay.
So, but then, so you just take the blueprint of what we've been doing with Manchester United, how we did the draft system, how we did the farm system, how we dealt with free agency, how the stadiums run, how the parking is done, how everything's properly done. And then we'll just take that work ethic and then bring it to our company. You know what I mean? And just because the way things are supposed to be done properly. So, it's kind of that. You just take those values and then we'll carry them with our company. So, that's how it is. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, because it's not for everybody. A lot of my musician buddies are just like, they'd rather just play and then, dude, I just want to go home. I just want to show up, play, right? And they don't want to be involved in the artwork. They don't want to be involved in the production. They don't want to be involved in the merchandise. They don't want to be involved in owning a company, a guitar company. They'd just rather be like, Zakk, I just want to play the thing. I really don't care about creating guitars and running a business. I just want to play and go home.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's not for everybody. I mean, if you love doing it, to me, it's not work. I just love doing it. So, yeah. I mean, because every day I wake up, because I always tell kids, they're just like, hey, Zakk, you got any advice for my son or my daughter? They want to play music. I go, yeah, make the band your job. This way, you'll always love going to work every day.
Awesome.
There should be a grocery list every day you wake up of things you got to do to put another brick on the empire that's going to be your band. If we owned a burger joint, we'd start off like McDonald's. We start off at a little shop, and then we just build, and you build, and you build, and you build, and each day we put another brick, and then, until you got this castle. So, then it turns into who's willing to put the work in and who quits. So, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yep. So yeah.
Because, I have some of my friends that don't even, when I started with Ozzy, that probably don't even play anymore, and they're completely out of the music business. As opposed to, because with any band, you could put the band together, and then you can get the van and the U-Haul, and then you can head out on the road and try and make this a successful business. Or if times start getting tough, you either quit or you keep plowing ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the line between whether you're going to be successful or you quit and you go home and go, well, I'm going to do something else. So, that's what it takes.
Yeah, sure. That's cool. Hey, you mentioned Ozzy. I guess you'd be aware this is 30 years since you joined Ozzy's band, played on No Rest for the Wicked. It's also 20 years of Black Label and your 10th Black Label album. How do you look back on those sort of milestones?
No, nothing but amazing memories, man. Even during the drinking years, the Animal House years of Black Label, which is completely out of control. I have nothing but hilarious memories and just like ridiculous stories. We all still laugh about it. Whenever I run into any of the old fraternity members, it's just like it's like nothing but crying and laughing. And the same thing with Ozzy. It's not. I always say with Oz, it was just a miracle we ever got any work done, just because we'd always be crying and laughing.
That's cool.
Everything else on top of it. It was just nothing but Animal House all the time. But, so it's like I always just say, it was a miracle anything ever got done. But, because we always cry and laughing. But, no, now, it's still pretty much the same thing. I don't drink anymore, but I'm sniffing glue and eating paint chips, and the results are astoundingly the same. I wake up with my pants around my ankle. I don't recall anything, but the fellas are like, Zakk, we had a great time last night. So I'm like, but I don't remember. So the results are pretty much the same, but it's less filling. It's less caloric, so it's much easier keeping a figure.
Good to hear, man. That's very good. Hey, we've only got a couple of minutes left. Can I ask you a quick question? One of my buddies wanted to know the Miracle Man solo. It's obviously double track. Did you pre-compose that and then double track it, or did you just blast it out and then have to work out the doubling for it?
No, I mean, it's definitely from the Randy Rhoads, the St. Rhodes school of, where you compose it, where you make a song within a song. Like, it's Stairway to Heaven, Hotel California. You know what I mean? And like with Randy stuff, basically all his solos.
Yep.
Whether it's Mr. Crowley, I don't know, Crazy Trainer, it's all composed.
Yeah, cool.
And, like Ron, it's all the same thing. They're all composed. You sit with it like a little homework project, and I record. I get the backing tracks. I put the CD on a boom box, and I just sit there with my little practice amp, and you write something until you're happy with it. You know what I mean? You start with the beginning and then the end, and then, it's just like at the beginning, the middle, and the end. So it just kind of tells a story.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I play the same song. I mean, when I do this hits or any of the Black Label records, I play them for you every night. You know what I mean? So you memorize it. So it's I look forward to it because it's like, here's my little project. Let me see if I can come up with what I can come up with.
Okay. Yep. Awesome, man. Now you're as we said, like you're on the road pretty solidly at the moment, and coming up, I think you're heading to Europe shortly. Is there any chance of bringing Black Label Society to Australia?
Yeah, without a doubt. We'll be rolling with the Australian and New Zealand chapters, and obviously you want to go to, all the Asian chapters as well. So, there's obviously when we get done with this run with the American and Canadian chapters right now, we're going to head over to, we have one day home, and then straight to Russia. Yep. So, I look forward to that. So, I look forward to getting up on stage every night, man.
All right, there you go. Zakk Wylde talking to me in the car park. Good times. Hey, I hope you're enjoying today's episode. It is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by Joe Elliott, ex-head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology. I was actually one of the beta testers for the course, and I can attest to its brilliant pacing and content. So I'm very happy to endorse it, and I'm very happy to have Joe and the team on as sponsors for the Guitar Speak podcast. Okay, now on to the conversation with John 5. This was originally published leading up to an Australian tour, which didn't go ahead due to the COVID pandemic, but hopefully those dates will be re-looked at sometime soon. Let's jump in. John 5 on the Guitar Speak podcast.
Hello?
Hi, is that John?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Hi there, good thanks. It's Matt Wakeling from the Guitar Speak podcast. Thank you for your time today.
Absolutely.
Hey, we are very excited down here in Australia because you've got an Australian tour coming up in April 2020, and also there's a new album that comes out. I'm not sure how our time zones work out, but it's either today or tomorrow on the day that we speak.
Yeah, I'm super, super excited to get over there, and, I'm just super excited. Everybody's really pumped, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful tour.
Fantastic. We'll talk about the tour. Can we talk about the album that's just been released, Invasion? That's a great record. I got to have a listen to it in full yesterday, and was blown away by another fantastic record. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I worked really hard on it. And, it's just a very special record. We made some really great videos for it, and we play everything just like how the record is. And I think that's important. So when you see the show, if you know the music really well, that's how it's going to, come off, because you're going to see the show and it sounds just like the record. And I try to do that to make it really nice that way.
That's awesome, because there's a lot of really cool ear candy on the record. In fact, when I heard it, it's a familiar idea of yours. I guess you seem to love mixing really straight ahead big rock stuff with modern production and electronica.
Yeah, it's just, it's like all these, there's so many DJs out, like EDM music and things like that. And that's instrumental. Why not do it with how I'm doing it and just add crazy guitar solos? And it really works well. It really does work well. And it's a new kind of modern thing, and people really seem to be loving it. Thank God.
Yeah, oh man, it's very exciting. The guitar sits in that stuff so well. Even something like, I don't know, Cactus Flower, which is such a sweet, clean toned country kind of thing. You've got this sort of soundscape underneath it, a contemporary kind of soundscape thing with this beautiful guitar floating on top. It just seems like a really great mix.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I did a lot of that behind the nut of the guitar because I love the lap steel so much. I love the pedal steel and just wanted to create that sound on a guitar. And that's where I got that idea.
Are you doing something similar on Howdy?
No, Howdy is just all bluegrass finger picking.
Okay.
And that one is my favorite one to play live. That one's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So all those sort of those pedal-ish kind of licks, they're all just left hand on the fingerboard.
Yeah, it's crazy nonstop. Like if you have an itch on your nose or something like that, there's no way you're going to itch that itch because you're doing so much.
Oh, that's great. That's so cool. There's some really cool bass stuff on the record too. Who's the bass player?
Ian Ross. Yeah, I wanted to make it as crazy as possible, but still very complementary to each other. And I just wanted to make it a very intense record, but still very musical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. There's some great, guitar and bass unison lines, and Ian's doing some great slap parts and features on the record. That's really fun.
Absolutely.
Are you doing some slap guitar yourself on Zoinks?
I'm doing a lot of slap on the whole record. I'm doing it on Zoinks. Then I'm doing it on I Am John 5 in the breakdown. And then also I like the funk. So it's a lot of slapping all over Invasion.
When did you get into that style?
I don't know, a few years back. I really like it. And I just think it's such a fun, cool, rhythmic thing. It's just something different, and it sounds really good. So, but it does take a lot of practice just to get it so super tight with everybody. But I love it so much. It's a lot of fun.
You are known for your guitar collection. I don't know if this is correct, so maybe you can set the record straight. Is it true that one of your aims is to have a Telecaster from every year of production?
That is correct. Up until about 1983. Yeah, so it's a lot.
That's cool. And are you missing any years? Or?
No, I pretty much have them all now.
Yeah, nice. What did you use for the record?
I mainly used my gold John 5 Telecaster, but then I also used I have this 1953 Telecaster, so I used a couple vintage ones as well, and because I love those vintage tellies and they sound so good, so I used it for like Howdy and Cactus Flower and stuff like that.
Yeah, something like Howdy, it's you could have just slapped it on the back pickup and had that big mid-rangey bark, but it feels like a lot of it's on the neck pickup. Is that true?
That is true. It's just a little bit not so abrasive.
Yeah.
You know, I like it on the neck pickup. It's just nice. It's not so abrasive. It's not so bitey, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, it's a cool tone. The album's title track, Invasion, has a great cinematic feel to it. Is that, I know that's something you've done on other records too, in different kind of ways. Is film scoring or television scoring something you're interested in?
I think it's just I always loved intros on records, and you'll hear that wind in the beginning. It's like eerie wind, but that's not wind. It's me taking a Floyd Rose all the way down and just lightly letting up on it. So it's like, so it really sounds like wind. It's really cool.
That is way cool.
And yeah, I just always loved cool intros to records, like, just preparing yourself for the journey you're about to take. Yeah,
that's awesome. And then it runs straight into I Am John 5, which is a cool statement about you with that electro kind of thing, the vocoder, and just wailing electric guitar. That's fun.
Yeah, that's that talk box, and then, doing the kill switch for the rhythmic riff. And, going for it.
You seem to be able to pull a lot of crazy sounds just from the instrument itself. before it even reaches your pedal board, the signal?
Because I always sit around watching TV playing guitar, and, I'll hit it a certain way, or I'll pling it a certain way, or something will happen, like a happy accident. And if it sounds cool enough, I'll try to incorporate it in a song, because there's so much that the guitar can do.
Talking about your signal reaching your pedal board, for the album, what did you end up using for amps and effects?
Very, very simple. I just use stock Marshall 900s. I use, what else do I use? I just use a certain couple of pedals. I use a Boss Super Overdrive, Boss Noise Suppressor, just very simple stuff, not a lot. Because I want to keep it very simple.
That's a pretty classic recipe.
Yeah, because if something goes wrong on the road, I want to be able to walk into any music store and just pick anything off the shelf.
What will you bring down under in terms of your rig?
I'll probably rent just regular Marshalls, and I just have a clean tone, a dirty tone, and bring my pedal board. It's very elementary. It's very simple. I have a noise suppressor, a Super Overdrive, a delay that I use for this song called Hell Haw on Season of the Witch. And then, it's very simple. There's not really much to it. I know it's not really exciting, but I like to do everything with my hands.
Well, that's the exciting part. That's the cool part.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better. I could go and play a show with just a little practice amp, and I could do it, And that's what I think is important.
I think I heard you on Jude Gold's podcast, and I think you were just rocking through a little practice amp, and that sounded incredible. So,
yeah, that's what I try to tell kids. Like, you don't need a Marshall stack. You just need to practice, and you'll be fine. You don't need to spend a lot of money on a guitar or an amp or anything. It doesn't make you any better. It just makes you louder.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah, it's amazing how much your pedals sound better the more you practice. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
What guitars will you bring on tour?
That's a great question. I think I'm going to bring the gold guitar, my main one, of course. I travel everywhere with. I'm going to bring the little gold mandolin, because I do this little song called Constant Sorrow on Invasion. And then I will probably bring the light-up guitar. So, stuff like that. It's going to be
cool.
Wonderful. It's going to be a fun show.
So you said when you do the show, it's really important for you to recreate the sounds. How are you doing that, especially with, I guess, the electronic side of things?
Well, everything. If you really break it down, like I Am John 5 or something like that, like I'm doing that rhythmic on-off thing, that ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. So I'm just doing that with a guitar and a kill switch and a distortion pedal. And, all the slap stuff is me and all the crazy sounds. It's just like I want it all.
Yeah.
Like I want it all. It sounds like all these crazy sounds. They're just all done with stock guitar. So that's what will be fun to see. That's why people enjoy it, because they're like, oh, well, there you go. That's really cool to see it like that. It sounds like they're like weird effects, but it's just being done with, hitting the guitar a certain way or things like that. So
yeah, that will be amazing to see and hear. Excellent. Well, John, thank you so much for your time. It's been really fun to meet you. I've loved you playing for a long time, and was excited to hear the record and that you're heading to Australia, and wish you all the best for the tour and the success of the album.
Thank you very, very much. It was great talking to you, and I just cannot wait to get there. I appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Zakk Wylde and John 5, just two super iconic guitarists in the Shredderverse, in the universe of rockin' today, and it was great to have them on the show. My thanks to Fretboard Biology for sponsoring today's episode. Please check out the links in our show notes. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Matt Wakeling. You've been listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. And in the words of the hugely influential Michael Schenker,
keep rocking, keep on rocking.
keep on rocking indeed. I'll catch you next time. Bye now.